G'day there guys, it's Markee, back again with another episode of r/AmiTheA. Now today I want you to sit back, relax, enjoy the content, chuck a prawn on the barbie, and get ready for some bloody good stories. Posted by user CrazyG271, titled, Am I the a-hole for accidentally making my brother lose a leg? I'll make this very short because of character limitation. Also, everything that happened in this story happened at December 2019, not while the world is crazy. So, at the time, I, 22 female, was pregnant, 19 weeks, and my parents invited me and my fiancé to live with them. They have a big house. Nothing luxurious, but a big house. We accepted because, as first-time parents, we probably would want some help, and some advice from someone who would have 3 children already. And also, my father used to be a doctor before retiring. At one night, my parents received an invitation to go to a social party at one of their friends' house. This friend lived in Africa, and he came to our country every once in a while. At this Friday, he decided to invite my parents to a social meeting and with other friends, so I was at my parents' home with my fiancé and my younger brother. We all went to bed, and I woke in the middle of the night with terrible cravings for one specific type of pizza that was on sale, and this happened at almost 2 a.m. I woke up my brother and asked him to go get it for me. This specific pizzeria works 24/7, but they don't deliver. He didn't want to go because he didn't like driving, but I ended up convincing him. I didn't want to send my significant other because if I needed any other thing, he would be there for me. My brother went to this pizzeria but didn't come back. I tried calling him, but he left his phone at home. After that, I called my parents and told them my brother went to the pizzeria and didn't come back. My parents come back home worried, sick, and asking what happened. At about 6:30 a.m., we receive a call from my uncle saying that my brother was involved in a car accident and we needed to come to the hospital. Getting there, we were told that my brother was stopped at the traffic light, returning from the pizzeria. Apparently some drunk driver was having a race with a friend and ended up crashing into my brother's car. Apparently because of the injuries, the doctors had to amputate my brother's leg. As my brother wasn't awake, my friend passed most of the time trying to speak with doctors, but my mother asked me what I was thinking when I decided to send an underage brother so late at night to get food instead of calling and asking them. I felt attacked by what she said, and I responded saying that it wasn't my fault that there was a drunk driver, and I couldn't have thought that my brother would take the main avenue back home. Usually my brother uses another way back to our house, but as it was night, he used the avenue. My mother told me that my fiancé and I needed to get our things and go back to our house, because we weren't being sensitive to my brother's situation. Since then, my mother's giving me the cold shoulder and almost doesn't look me in the eyes. Am I the a-hole in this situation? You're the a-hole. Why couldn't you have gone to get the pizza by yourself or your fiancé? It's not your fault that your brother was hit by a drunk driver, but waking your 17-year-old brother at 2 a.m. to go get your pizza is weird to me. Where I live, it would have been illegal for him to be driving that late anyways. I agree as much as I hate to. She was selfish. Pregnancy sucks, but it's not a reason to make everyone do your bidding. Thing though, is she's 19 weeks. She has no need to have a person at her side just in case she needed something, while she sent another one to go grab pizza for her. She doesn't mention having an extremely difficult pregnancy to the extent of warranting such measures. She is completely selfish, waking up and convincing a boy that didn't want to go while letting her own fiancé sleep. I'm 20 weeks pregnant today, and I was not informed that I could not do things for myself and could not be left unattended. I'm upstairs alone. I wonder if I should call my husband to escort me down the stairs. You're the a-hole. Your mother is absolutely right that you shouldn't have sent your minor brother out in the middle of the night for something that you or your baby daddy could get on your own. He told you he didn't want to go, and that alone should have made you back off. She shouldn't be laying in on the guilt, but you aren't entirely blameless in this situation. It's not your fault that he got hit, but it's your fault that he even left the house to begin with. Let's also keep in mind that OP is pregnant. Her legs aren't broken. She could have gone to get the pizza herself. Also, only 19 weeks pregnant, not much further along, like 30 weeks and heavily pregnant. You're the a-hole for sending your brother, a minor, out for your 2 a.m. snack. If it was that important, you could have gone yourself or sent your fiancé, since you're adults. You aren't responsible for the drunk driver being on the road at 2 a.m, but you are responsible for your brother being there. And seeing your edit about how he's insecure about driving and doesn't like it really puts a nail in the coffin for me about who the a-hole is in this situation. Posted by user otherwise Arm3, titled, "Am I the a-hole for publicly telling my half-sister to stay out of my life?" My half-sister has a weird obsession with me. She stalks me on my social media profile and acts like a deranged ex. I'm pretty popular on Instagram, where I also post my art, so making it private is not an option. She's 17 and I haven't seen her in years. The last time I saw her, she was 12, and it was at my grandfather's funeral. My biological father had an affair with one of my mum's friends when she was dying. It was sick, and my poor mum found out about it 5 days before she passed away. The other woman was already pregnant with my half-sister. I was 15 and old enough to know what that meant. I refused to live with my dad, and the courts allowed it, and started living with my maternal grandparents. My 2 older siblings were in college, and they haven't talked to him in years. We chose to keep them out of my life, and we like it that way. Whenever I, my husband, or my siblings make any sweet post, she literally spams the comment section with comments about us abandoning her and our biological father. I keep blocking her, but she comes back with new IDs every time. I definitely think she is not in a good mental place and needs help, possibly professional help. The last straw was on Mother's Day. When I tried to post a beautiful tribute to my mum, I posted many pictures. Some of those pictures were beautiful family pictures, and I edited my biological father out of them. She commented about me posting edited pictures and abandoning our father. It was a long post, and she actually posted several old family pictures in her account. That post got a lot of attention, and people started asking me about it. Only this time, I didn't delete her comment or block her. I replied under her post and asked her to stay away from my life. All this time, I avoided a confrontation because I believed she was young and misled by her parents, but as a 17-year-old, she should know better. This was my reply. I don't know about others, but for me and my siblings, just because our biological father decided to have sex with some rando and cheat on our dying mum, doesn't mean we owe anything to him or the result of his indiscretions. Please respect our boundaries and leave my family alone. You are old enough to understand this, and if it bothers you, consider therapy. This level of obsession with our lives is really unhealthy. I wish you and your family well. Am I the a-hole? Definitely not the a-hole. If she wants to publicly shame you for a very reasonable choice, then she can get a taste of her own medicine. You aren't responsible for her or her father in any way and have every right to keep them away. If she can't respect your boundaries and continues to spam your account, I would strongly consider taking legal action as well. This sounds like borderline stalking and defamation, especially considering the circumstances. I will look into legal options if she continues her behavior after she turns 18, although sometimes I feel like it might be my father using her to harass me. It's just beyond my understanding that a 17-year-old would be obsessed with a bunch of relatives. I agree that's probably the best course of action. Given your dad's history, it wouldn't be surprising if she was manipulated or strongly encouraged into the behavior. It's sad if that is the case, but it still doesn't excuse her actions. Either way, she needs to be held responsible if the behavior continues into adulthood. It doesn't fully excuse her actions, no, but a 17-year-old can be easily pressured by her father. I don't want to come to drastic conclusions, but we can't rule out abuse. Systematic abuse. Everyone expects a 17-year-old to know better. But if you were born into this situation where your father had some weird obsession with some kid you've never even met, it would shape how you grew up. Not the a-hole 100%. Your reply was direct, to the point, and only slightly hurtful. Probably didn't need to recommend therapy. Though I will say this. Your half-sister didn't choose to be a product of your father's indiscretions. To her, she may still see you as family, and it might just be an accumulation of being rejected by you and your father's siblings for all this time. Perhaps down the road, when she sees an adult, try opening that bridge, with restrictions, with her alone. Because who knows what your a-hole of a dad has told her about what actually happened. She might not know the real truth. I disagree on this point. I'd say that therapy is helpful even to mentally healthy people, given the tools it can give you to better manage your mental state. The obsession with her half-sister's life, coupled with her persistence and anger, seems pretty unhealthy. There is potentially a lot that's going on, and therapy could be helpful. I'm not sure how recommending therapy would be considered an insult and hurtful in any way. Posted by user ThrowRA28826, titled, "Am I the a-hole for getting our daughter to interrupt my wife's nap?" Without going into too much detail, my job is very stressful right now. I'm on constant meetings, and I am constantly having work thrown at me last minute. I have 2 children, 2 and 4. We are also expecting our 3rd child in October. My wife is an interior designer. She usually works nights since our youngest is always waking up at odd hours, and she says it inspires her, which is fine. I had a 40-minute break yesterday. I decided to take that as me time and watch some TV when my youngest woke up from her nap and started whining that she wanted to play. I told her to go get mummy to play because I wanted to relax. Turns out her mother was having a nap because both children were also meant to be sleeping as they'd been awake most of the night. My eldest woke her up and they played princess or whatever for a few hours and had an early night. My wife came into the bedroom that night and completely went off about how she isn't a single parent and she just wanted a nap. Next time the children are up, she'll get our daughter to wake me up as a guilt trip like I did to her. I tried to explain that I only had 40 minutes. I'd had pressure from my boss and wanted a break. She chooses to work nights. Now she's sleeping on the pull-out sofa in the girls' room. Am I the a-hole? So, if your wife didn't work at night, who would manage the children while you were both working during the day? She's pregnant and caring for a toddler and a preschooler all day and working at night. You needed a break, understandable, but when is hers? You're the a-hole. She gets to sleep for 4 hours. OP, you do know that sleep deprivation is literally tortured and banned by the Geneva Convention, right? Because that's what you're doing to your wife. You're the a-hole multiplied by 1,000,000. Stop pretending to be a babysitter and actually be both a parent and a dad. How much do you charge your wife to babysit, OP? A lot of men on this sub feel entitled to me time to recharge, which apparently excludes spending any time with your kid. And they find it okay to interrupt the recharging of their spouse for it. You're the a-hole. Oh boy, are you the a-hole. So you're working a lot during the day. She's pregnant and looking after 2 small kids, then she's doing her job at night, whilst also I know after one of the children that doesn't sleep that well. Info. When is her me time? When does she sleep? Based on the information you gave, it's no surprise she went off on you. She must be exhausted. If you want more me time, you need to set boundaries at work and learn to say no. Read his other replies. She gets to sleep for 4 hours before her midnight shift starts. Wow, just saw those. Did not help his case. Posted by user Work From Car, titled, "Am I the a-hole for working from my car in a parking lot because my wife is having my mother-in-law stay with us?" My wife gave birth to our son 8 weeks ago, and since then, my mother-in-law has moved in with us. I figured it would be for a week or 2 while she got settled, but it's been 2 months. And that was fine when I could go to work. But now I can't, and I swear to God if I have to spend another minute in the house with her, I'm going to have a psychotic break. I can understand why my wife wants her here, but she is driving me insane. Since I've been working at home, she's interrupted my work at least twice a day to tell me what I should be doing. I've explained many times that I can do chores and take care of our son after I'm finished with work, but she continues to interrupt. I have been cooking most nights, and she comments on my cooking every fudging night. Too bland, or too spicy, or too this, or not enough that. But she doesn't cook. She doesn't even do the dishes. She just exists in the house, following me around like a fudging demon, telling me what to do. She could fix 95% of what she nags me about herself, rather than bothering me while I'm working, or actively trying to take care of something. She told me to do the dishes while I'm doing the dishes. I've explained this to my wife and basically gotten a "too bad" answer every time. I can't take it anymore. I've been taking my laptop in my car and working in my office parking lot using my hotspot. I put a curtain behind the front seats for meetings so they can't tell where I am. I've done this for 3 days and my wife has been telling me to stop. I told her I'm not going to stop until mother-in-law leaves, and my wife said it's not fair to pressure her into making her leave early. I asked when she was planning on making her leave, and I got the same answers I've gotten every other time, which is when she feels like it's right. She told me to stop going back to the parking lot again today, but when she went back to bed, I went again, and I'm here now. Am I the a-hole if I don't stop coming? Edits 1 to 3 removed. Edit 4. My edits were deemed in violation of Rule 3. Summary here. Wife will get upset if I confront mother-in-law directly. I take care of my son from when I'm done working to when I go to bed, and all day on Saturday. I do nights on the weekend. Sunday is my day off where I don't have work and don't have to take care of our son all day, but I'll help out if needed. I start work at 8, finish around 6. From 6 until 12 I take care of him, as well as cooking. My wife's day off is Saturday, mine is Sunday. My boss is a mess, and therefore I accomplish nothing today. I do all the cooking and dishes, and other chores are split evenly. I've tried having conversations about why she wants mother-in-law to stay, and what she does that I don't, but she shuts me down. Not the a-hole. Tell your wife either mother-in-law leaves, or you do. 8 weeks is way too long for any company. Plus, your wife has allowed mother-in-law and her wants to come before you in your own house. You might as well have your mum move in too, because too bad. When you marry and have children, your immediate family becomes you, spouse and baby, and everyone becomes extended family. She needs to be taking your side. I know if my own mother came to stay for 8 weeks, she'd actually help and would facilitate my partner and I bonding with our hypothetical child. That's why I'm agreeing not the a-hole. Mother-in-law needs to either step up and help the whole family or leave. Opie has done well so far, and should continue to go to work. If his wife needs help with the baby, that's what mother-in-law is for. Thanks for commenting, but it's too bland. Maybe make it more spicy next time. Said by Opie's mother-in-law. Oof, too spicy. More bland, less time, please. Why are you commenting here? You should be doing the dishes. Why are you commenting here? You should be commenting here. Well done. Very cool, everyone. Thanks for coming. No, she said medium. You call this medium? Have you ever seen a steak before? Not the a-hole. You're not pressuring your wife to make her mother-in-law leave early. You're making accommodations for yourself and literally putting your wife before yourself right now by leaving her and mother-in-law alone for whatever it is she wanted her mother to help with. Yeah, this feels like a control thing from his wife. Why does she care exactly how he manages the situation? He's not hurting the mother-in-law or her. Probably because mother-in-law is complaining to wife that Opie isn't home to help with the house. Mother-in-law doesn't seem to understand the concept of working from home, so she probably just assumes he's fudging off to avoid helping. Opie is so not the a-hole, and needs to shut this crap down. I'm also going to assume mother-in-law probably doesn't work or hasn't in a very long time. My mum hasn't worked in 35 years. She has trouble of understanding the concept of working from home. My mother-in-law is still employed, and she very much understands the concept of working from home. My mum is in her 50s and completely thinks remote working is code for being jobless and has zero comprehension of technology. It took her 2 years to learn to use volume control on her laptop. I wouldn't be surprised if the mother-in-law didn't understand that Opie is actually working. Oh dude, not the a-hole. My mum is like this and I would never subject my spouse to that for an extended period of time. My mum has gotten better, but it's because I set firm boundaries, not suck it up and say too bad. My mum once rearranged my entire kitchen because it wasn't right. I called her out like, what the hell? You don't live here. You don't get to make these decisions. When she argued with me, I told her she wasn't allowed to stay with me until she respected my space. She also nags and nitpicks everything. Growing up, she literally printed, laminated, and posted 6 pages of instructions on how to do laundry the right way. As an adult, I've told her I don't want to spend time with her if she's going to be like that. Past few years, I've actually had no issues with her, and she's stayed with us a few times more recently. Boundaries are wonderful. You have every right to not want to be around it, and I see nothing wrong with working out of your car. Honestly, it may be a good idea to tell your wife that she can't expect you to just tolerate this. If it were me, I'd say that I'm no longer going to cook if everything I cook is going to be critiqued. I'm also petty and an a-hole, so keep that in mind. My mother is like this. She's rearranged my kitchen several times. I'm still figuring out ways to handle it. I have the advantage of working in mental health, which taught me how to deal with this. It's challenging, but I'm a big fan of assertiveness and setting boundaries. It's not easy, that's for sure. Teach us. Here's a link to a free resource that I often use with my patients. It's a self-help workbook, and it's very good. I'm actually going to chuck that link down in the description if you guys want to look at it. Posted by user Serious Carpet 3, titled, Am I the a-hole for not backing up a girl when she said she dresses for herself, not for guys? People involved in this, me, 16 male, a friend of a friend Olivia, 16 female, the rest of our friend group, 16 to 17 male or female. So, I'm considered one of the more stylish guys at my school. I actually put effort in and don't wear shorts and sweatpants and t-shirts every day. Anyhow, Olivia is also pretty well dressed, and today she was talking about how she dresses for herself and how her clothes aren't to attract guys, but because she feels better when she looks good. She then turned to me and asked, Isn't that right? Don't you dress for yourself? Clearly, she was expecting me to confirm her opinions. I shrugged and said truthfully that no, I actually dress at least partially to look attractive for girls. I do enjoy looking nice, but more than that, I like girls thinking I'm hot, so I try to dress in a way that makes them think this. This upset her, since I didn't back her up. She asked, Don't you believe me though when I say I only dress for myself? I shrugged again and told her I can't know for certain because nobody could see inside her brain but herself. They also really don't know her that well, so there's no way to know either way whether she's telling the truth. This really upset her, and she's angry at me for not supporting her. I don't believe I had any obligation to, and besides, when she asks me questions, she shouldn't be mad at me for answering. Am I the a-hole? You didn't start out the a-hole when you answered honestly why you dress up, but you became one when you danced around believing her reasoning. If I said, I like blue, do you believe me? You would respond with, There's no way for me to know if you like blue or not because I can't read your mind. What a strange thing to say. You are the a-hole. It's a very predictable thing to say for an above-average intelligent teenager who is trying to not technically lie, but isn't smart enough yet to realize that people can and will read between the lines. Yeah, just because you think that the way you dress gets you women doesn't mean she might be lying about her personal reasoning. You're the a-hole. You're the a-hole for suggesting she was lying. You're the a-hole for not the first answer but for the second. You answered the first truthfully for yourself, and that's fine. Not backing her up on the second question was unnecessary. You essentially said she could be lying. OP doesn't know this girl, and gave a non-committal answer to her, Don't you believe me? To be honest, this Olivia sure seems to care a whole lot about what other people think of her, judging by this conversation, so I think she might be lying even to herself. OP casted unneeded doubt on someone else. How is being truthful about your feelings when somebody explicitly asks for your opinion unneeded? Contrary to the rest of the responses, which I'm surprised about, not the a-hole. You're right by saying she is the only one who knows her reasoning behind why she dresses the way she does. Her question seems a little odd, and I don't think you should have to automatically validate her feelings just to appease her. I don't see it as you assuming she's lying, just that you don't know her intentions. There's nothing wrong with questioning someone's intentions. This is one of those real-life versus technically correct things. Is OP technically correct that he doesn't know for certain? Sure. Is it still a dick move that you cause a problem for no reason? Absolutely. You can do this whole technically I don't know for sure thing with anything. But even if she hypothetically was lying, it has no bearing on OP. So the polite thing to do is say that you don't assume she's lying and move on. If you have a casual acquaintance you see at work or school from time to time who you don't particularly like, but don't have any problems with, and they ask if you like them, you could say, yeah, you're fine, and be polite. Or you could say, well, honestly, I think you're kind of annoying sometimes, and I don't like talking to you, so I don't like you, but I don't have a problem with you. The second one is more honest, but it also causes unnecessary friction when it wouldn't hurt anybody to say the polite and socially acceptable thing and just be nice. Sometimes you can choose not to be a dick, even if you're technically in the right. G'day there guys, Outro Markee here. Hope you enjoyed the episode as much as I enjoyed making it today. If you did, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. Tell me what you thought about it down below. Also, if you like memes, be sure to head on over to my second channel, AmiTheA. It should be one of the sexy Australian faces on screen, the one without the flag. It's my latest and greatest creation, and I hope you like it. Also, I'd like to give a huge shout out to my channel members and Patreon subscribers. You guys do so much good for me, and the support goes without saying, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I love you guys, and I appreciate all the help and support you provide me on this channel. Also, if you want to join the family, links are down in the description below, or click that join button next to the subscribe button. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed that one today. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!